Street. Cool.
Anything else about that time period? Were you gardening? No.
No.
Okay.
But that's when I started going to farmers markets.
Oh, okay.
And buying more produce from the grocery store, and we lived a block from the grocery store. And
why did you start buying more produce from supermarkets?
To grill. Oh, and then I got my first real job. And then I started kind of like eating lunch, like salads for lunch. And not to be like healthier, I just was like, they're quick, they're easy, you just throw them together and go. And I was doing that, you see all those things online, like the cur jars, and you put the salads together. Like, I was doing that before they started
You could have been a YouTube star.
I know, what was I thinking?
Yeah, somebody definitely saw someone else doing that and decided to go online about that. Yeah.
Pisses me off. That's okay. Other people need to do that.
Jar. Do you still do that?
Yeah. I stole them from my mom from canning. She's in canning now.
There you go. Okay, so any other transitions? You kind of mentioned living with different people. Anything kind of after that? Could be job stuff, health changes.
I don't know how appropriate this is, but I smoked a lot of pot then, and I probably ate way too much food.
In which
21.
21. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you say you ate too much food?
You get the munchies.
But what would that be? Like going out? Would that be bringing snacks home?
Well, we lived a block from the grocery store. So that didn't help. And my partner, he was the baker, which was it was literally reverse roles from growing up. And he would make cookies all the time.
Yeah.
And I just remember this is a decade ago, but I just feel like I ate a lot of cookies and smoked a lot of pot. So
that's what you're strong
that's what I remember. Yeah.
Okay, so after the Lower East Side,
then I moved to River West.
Okay.
And I lived with a woman that was in graduate school. She wasn't home a lot. And I don't think my eating patterns really changed.
Were you still cooking for yourself, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
There wasn't really any communal. Yeah, I don't really think nothing changed there. She was just a roommate.
Yeah.
And then how old was I? 25. I got 24 or 25, I can't remember. If I got my own place.
Okay.
And back on the Lower East Side. And then I started I stopped smoking pot, and I started eating, really looking at what was in my food. I didn't necessarily eat any healthier, but I was like, hey, look at all this sodium that's in this frozen pizza. And then, so that's when I started looking at that. And then
Did anything prompt that? Is there any particular...
I was trying to lose weight at that time, but I just started I think I watched a documentary.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is probably every person's reason for watching what they eat or whatever. And I was exercising more, and I had a full-time job, so I had a regular schedule. Where in school it's sporadic. And
yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point.
And I didn't grill as much. I don't think at all. I think when I went home and I'd visit my dad, then I would grill, and that was it. And I lived alone for three years there, and then I moved and now I live alone for 3 years.
Okay.
And that's when I first started like really like looking what was in my food, and I still didn't garden.
Okay, and you didn't. So you started looking. But you sort of said like you weren't doing anything about that.
Oh, I stopped eating like the processed foods.
So you did. So it did change.
Yeah.
Looking
I like looked at it like I'm like, oh, this is really unhealthy, and then I started like I was eating salads all the time before, and I started looking at what was in the dressing. So I'm like, oh, I'm eating vegetables, but it's like, oh, I'm putting all this crap on it. And I did 3 months of just putting lemon juice on my salads. It was disgusting. But it was worth it. Yeah, so I did something about it.
Yeah. And then you said you moved in with somebody else who lived with a different partner? Or you just moved places?
I just moved places to Bayview, and that's when I got my first garden plot.
Oh, so that was like 20-ish?
When did I move in? I'm 31.
Yeah.
So 28.
Okay, great.
I think, yeah.
Okay, so you moved to Bayview.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask what prompted that move?
I was sick of the east side.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I like parking, not 5 blocks from my house.
That's very good.
Oh, and I got a dog, so I needed a place that like let me have dogs. And the east side's notorious for not doing that.
Okay. And so, how did the garden plot fit in with that? Is that something that you found once you were there, or something that you were like, oh, can I
found once I was there.
You found it once you were there. Okay. And how'd you find it?
I just Googled, I think one day, I think I was working at a place that I barely did anything but getting paid a lot. And I had a lot of free time, and I just started Googling, and that's when I first heard like pescatarian and vegetarian, and vegan, and I was just researching, and then I researched garden plots, and I found one in Oak Creek that was pretty cheap, and I could drive to. And then someone told me about VGI.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing their blitz, and I got just like a whole lot changed there.
Well, tell me about that. That's really interesting.
Well, I stopped eating meat completely.
So that was when you moved to Bayview?
Yeah. I'd say a good 6 months after I moved to Bayview, I stopped eating all meat. I was vegetarian. Mm-hmm. And I went to farmers markets all the time. So I worked at a place that was near the West Dallas Farmer Market, and they have during the day, and so my lunch break, I could go to farmers market Tuesday and Thursdays, and then Saturdays they have their market. And so I was going during the week, and I lived by Outpost. So I went to Outpost every day, and I started eating more vegan options, and I'd never like thought about being vegan before, and I did do vegan for a month. It was hard. Just because I think because like when I was growing up, so much cheese on everything. It's hard to like give that up.
Sure. Do you still like cheese?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I don't drink milk anymore. I haven't drank milk in 3 years.
Is that did you like it, or why did you give it up?
Oh no, I love milk. I think it was just the chemicals, and oh yeah, how much time do you have?
No, I've got time.
I think I just watched probably Cowspiracy, and then I was like, I'm not drinking milk anymore. Okay. And so yeah, then I was vegetarian for a year. I did it as a New Year's resolution. Mm-hmm. And then after the year, I started incorporating fish back into my meals. Primarily just tuna.
Just because?
I wanted a little more protein than I was getting in the winter time. Mm-hmm. So.
Have you found it to be difficult to be a vegetarian in Milwaukee?
No. When I go home, that's when it's difficult.
Okay. What makes it difficult?